What's up, guys? My name is Josh.
And I'm Rob.
And today we are talking about, is it possible to grow up confident? Miley Cyrus's new album.
Okay.
And March Madness.
Ooh.
Let's get it.
Let's do this.
So for our first topic today, we are asking the question, is it possible to grow up confident? And this all came from a study that came out that showed that children's ability to stop taking risks today, for them to be seen as risky or sketchy, has actually impacted their overall happiness. So things like not climbing trees or going for walks around the neighborhood has impacted their overall state of well-being mentally, socially. And so Rob, why do you think that is, and how do we respond to that?
I think it's true just based on experience. But if we're gonna answer the big topic, is it possible to grow up confident? I think it's important to ask ourselves, what are we measuring confidence in? Right? Again, it could be an overgeneralizing term that I don't think we fully understand. If confidence means that we don't have any worries and we feel good all the time, no. I don't think that's possible, especially growing up. There's so many things that we're learning and we're trying out and we're figuring out. And if that's your measuring stick, you'll never try anything. And I think that's the root of that study, that if you don't ever want to feel like a failure, or you never want to feel quote unquote bad, we'll never grow. It's important to step out there and be okay, I think, with the journey. So I think about that. It's why do we put so much pressure on ourselves, especially growing up? I remember this in youth group or in middle school and high school, there was this pressure to know everything. And I don't know why that is. I think it's just human nature. I think we get competitive. We get we believe in this hierarchy, especially as guys, But it's definitely the same with girls of feeling the most beautiful or feeling wanted and am I desired? There's this competition. I just think in human nature, and whenever we feel inadequate, right? We feel like something's wrong, anxiety creeps in, you might feel depressed as well, because you're using the wrong measuring stick to measure confidence, right? I think it has to go back to your identity and who you believe yourself to be and who God has called you to be. Take those thoughts, bring them against the Spirit. What has God called you to be? Who does He say that you are? Last time I checked, we were paid by blood.
Come on.
Come on! So He says that I'm crazy valuable enough to die for and then lay all of my mistakes in the grave. It's who cares what the people around me say or how they make me feel? I gotta take my thoughts and put them against God,
Yeah, that's good. And I think too, there's a point where we as human beings want to take ourselves so seriously and want to grow up so fast.
For
and
what?
I think what this study reveals is don't neglect having fun.
Right.
Because what I believe that it does is when we stop taking risks in the childlike areas where we're supposed to at this age, then it actually can influence every part of our lives.
That's so good.
It can influence where we take risks in our relationships. It can influence where we take risks in our relationship with God.
Yeah.
And then as we grow into that and mature into a person, that begins to be the narrative for our life.
Right.
And so while I think some of the things are scary to do that are childlike, I love what one pastor said. She said, do it afraid.
Come on, somebody.
Like,
Yes.
just do it afraid. And I think that correlates to both our personal life and our spiritual life. There's a verse in Jeremiah, when I think about confidence, I always think about, he says, blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in Him.
Yeah.
It's in Him. It's not in their relationships, in their social media status, in their sports team, but it's in Him. And they will be like a tree planted by streams of water. That's leaves are always green. It never fails to bear fruit.
Come on.
Is that not what you want to be?
Yes.
Someone who never fails to bear fruit, whose leaves are always green, who doesn't fear seasons of drought. I think that is why it makes such a big difference. And so for you, when you look at your life, what are some areas looking at growing up that you really think shaped you, that helped you become either more confident or just risk it in a way that was so crazy and silly, but so much fun?
Me and a few of my college friends, we took a trip to Canada and we were playing at this conference. We were leading worship at this conference and we just decided to go. We were invited and we went. I was in New Jersey. My friends were in Virginia. They picked me up in Pennsylvania. So we road tripped it across the border. We hit Niagara Falls as well. It was tight.
Dang.
Drove through, met up with some more people, drove through the boonies of Canada to this camp. There was a meteor shower that night. We saw fireworks on the lake, cliff jumped. And then I got to like lead worship and like just hang out with people. Like that was super formative. I think like going out on my own too, like my parents weren't there. I was with my friends, like having to practice the things that they taught me, to discover things. We don't put as much value on discovering, bro.
That's good.
Discover.
Good.
Like God has like laid out, he doesn't give us all the answers on purpose. Like we're not just meant to know him, we're meant to experience him. And we do that by discovering and going out and just, obviously with safety, with common sense. Like I'm not telling like, go into some random country with no knowledge. Like no, obviously do it calculated, but to discover life is one of the benefits of life. Don't ever miss out on that. Just because you may not know all the answers, that's actually a good thing. Let's go and find them and let God guide you.
I mean, we did all kinds of things that I probably shouldn't even say on the show. Not that they were illegal or anything, but they were just dangerous. Like we might have been jumping out of trees. We might have been airsofting in our front yard.
Let's
like
go.
Hitting other houses. Don't do that.
No, don't.
But we grew up doing things like putting some ragtag things on our legs to play hockey in the front yard, where if you're the goalie, like nobody wants to be that guy because you're just going to get nailed by hockey pucks the whole time with no protection.
Okay. Did you ever watch, this is a throwback, did you ever watch the show on Nickelodeon, Rocket Power?
A little bit.
That's what I imagine your life is.
It kind of was. Bombing hills on skateboards,
yes, all the things.
Yeah, I mean, both my brothers had busted up teeth, got stitches in their chins because they're just hitting the ground, but it was so fun.
Yeah.
Like you look back on those moments and you think that if I never risked, if I never did things that were just like so childlike, it wouldn't have formed me into the person I am today.
Yeah.
And even now, I don't know if you relate to this, but I'll look back and say, where have I lost my childlike wonder?
Straight up.
Where have I lost my ability just to risk in certain areas?
Yeah.
And so for you, when you think about where should we look in our lives to find confidence?
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like, it's in God, man. Like trust that he's put you on this planet on purpose, right? Like he doesn't make a mistake. I saw this stat and I may be wrong, but it's like the chance of life is like 1 in 40 trillion, like crazy odds that you have consciousness and are here on this planet, right? So he's put you here on purpose. So why would he not like guide you through this life, right? And give you all the things that you need in the timing that you need. So it's okay that you don't know. It's okay that you might feel afraid, but we are meant to do this life afraid. I mean, even as an adult, you do it afraid. I'm about to be a dad. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Come on, baby Estevez.
I don't know. Like, but I'm honest, like, I don't know. I'm so excited, but I don't know. There's so many things that me and my wife are both afraid of, but we've practiced that as kids, and we're here and we're ready. And we've seen how God has moved in and through the gaps of our life. Even when we've messed up, he's so faithful to even cover. And so you got to know him. You got to know God and seek that. I think that's where you got to find your confidence in. You hit the nail on the head with that scripture.
If you're not stepping out in faith, it's like, how do you ever expect to see God show up?
Come on!
Like, I think that's where you learn a lot of it. Like you were saying, I don't know what I'm doing, but as I go, before I know, that's where God meets me, right?
Careful.
And that's where
Careful, don't rhyme out here. You're gonna make me run, take a lap.
Take a lap. But that's where God shows up, and that's where I think we deepen our trust in him, and so we can continue to go, knowing that he showed up before, and he'll be faithful to show up again.
That's good.
And so I think it's both and. What is one wise decision that we can make today that will boost our self-efficacy for tomorrow?
I would just pray. I would practice prayer.
Prayer.
I think we underestimate, because it's not like this active thing, like I'm making the change in the thing, because it feels indirect, right? Like, okay, well, I have anxiety, so I'm going to pray. Well, what does that actually do for the moments where I feel like what it's doing is you're practicing hearing the Lord and knowing what his voice sounds like, and it will help give you confidence in those areas, and he's going to start speaking to you. I would just make little prayer consistent in your life, man. It may feel indirect, it may feel like it's not making the change quickly, but you're mining this relationship with God that will pay off in the long run. Wow. And it's so helpful. Like even just it could be a little thing. I'm not talking about like, okay, like set the mood right. I mean, you can do that if that's your vibe, but it could just be
oils going and everything.
Get the whole thing going. But I mean, it could just be like, you're in the car, you're feeling those feelings. Lord, I need your help today.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I just need help. That could be it.
Yeah.
Or as soon as you wake up, practice gratitude. Oh my gosh. Wake up and think about what you are thankful for today. Lord, I'm thankful I woke up. I'm thankful I have this friend. I'm thankful I have this parent. I'm thankful I have whatever. I'm thankful I got food today. Practice gratitude and auditing the things that you are thankful for. That will change your life.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I think, like we talked about earlier, don't neglect having fun. Don't, like what it does to go outside, to get sunshine for your mental health, just to be silly, to play games, to meet with kids in your neighborhood. It's so rare today, but it makes such a big deal on our mental well-being and the feelings that we feel.
Yeah, it's so good.
How do we feel about Miley Cyrus's new album?
Haven't listened to it. I will say...
It's the musician right here?
Don't pretend like you have. Don't pretend. Honestly, the thing I've been seeing about Miley Cyrus nowadays is what TikTok is like making fun of her voice. God bless. Be praying for Miley.
Yeah. I think she dropped one song. Was it called Airplanes or something?
It was called Flowers.
See?
But
that tells you where I'm at.
I mean, it was a good song. I actually got mad respect for her as an artist. I think she's really like found her lane in the rock space, in the pop rock space. Like she's actually killing it.
But I love how in her album she mixes it up always.
Yeah.
Like not one ever sounds the same.
Yeah.
So you're like, which Miley are we getting this time?
That's good. That's good. I'm still on the climb, bro.
The climb.
There's always going to be another mountain.
We're gonna leave you back in the day.
That song is fire.
How do you feel about March Madness? It's here.
It's here, man.
Have you made a bracket?
No.
Good, because it would have been busted.
Broke, busted, and disgusted.
Broke, busted, and disgusted.
I walked into Buffalo Wild Wings and saw the whole place lit up for it, but I actually haven't been watching it. What's your bracket?
So here's the deal. I'm in 3 different bracket things with my friends.
Okay.
And one of them, I'm in first. Like, it's rare.
Okay.
Here's what I did. I don't know if you'd consider this unethical or not, but I looked up a website statistic predictor.
Let's go.
That predicts every matchup. And I said, I'm just going to pick the highest one with the percentage. Why would I try with my flawed understanding?
Wow. Come on. There's something
I think I know how to do it all. Why not trust the experts? Trust the pros.
Dang.
That's my best bracket. So don't tell my friends because they ain't going to be too happy.
Don't rat out Josh right now.
But here's what I think's crazy about March Madness is how no one can ever get a right bracket. Like, in the last, I don't know, however many years it's been going, there's never been a perfect bracket.
Dang.
They offer you like cars, money. If anyone could get it right, no one ever gets close. It's busted after like 2 days.
Wow.
And this year we saw the number 1 seed lose to the number 16 seed for the second time in history.
Why is college basketball so volatile?
It is the most fun thing that I've ever seen. It's 2 days. March Madness is the perfect name because people are going crazy.
Wow.
And you talked about the Miley Cyrus memes. You should see the memes that come out of this when you have cheerleaders just bawling, crying.
Dang.
Or it's hilarious.
Sounds like they've misplaced their confidence on the court.
Look at this guy getting all spiritual.
Dang.
How do maturity and confidence positively affect the people around us? Is growing in these areas worth it?
Oh yeah, I mean, huge influence on the people around. You know, I've seen false confidence influence. I've seen the kids that walk around like they got it all together. They make me want to like, okay, well, what are they doing? Do I have to do what they do in order to feel that way, right? So imagine what true confidence will do if like you're rooted in the Lord and like you're just walking around centered, right? Because that's what peace is. Like God peace is different than human peace. It doesn't mean that you're void of problems. It just means that you're centered in the middle of it, right? Like Jesus sleeping in the boat, right? Like he's not worried about the storm.
No.
He controls the storm. That same power is living in you right now. So if you walk around with the God who controls the winds and the waves, even though you're maybe going through something, people are going to notice that and going to be like, whoa, why is he just so chill right now? Why is she just so chill? Like, it's because of God in you. Imagine what that'll do to the people around you and how that alone, how your story will bring people to Jesus, right? Well, that's it for this week, but please join us every week. We put out one of these every single week. So like, subscribe, put down in the comments, like, who's in your bracket? Are you in on Miley Cyrus's new album? We want to know. We just want to engage with you. So join us next week, y'all.
Peace.